It is now 10:13 a.m. in Hanoi, Vietnam. And we are having an experience that is new. Up to this time in the world, in society, in the universe, in reality, there has never been a moment quite like this. Whether you like it or not, or believe in it, or understand it, or want to be involved or don't want to be involved, isn't much important. This present moment, this experience, is completely unlike any other experience that has ever existed up until now. We shouldn't be in a rush to define it, understand it, grasp it, control it, react to it, figure it out, manage it, grasp or reject it. Because it is unknown, it is ever new. And it's not about someone or some place or some time. Why do I say this? What does this mean? Well, the universe is not about someone in particular. Because we have this human faculty, human ability, we know that this body and mind is the body and mind as a part of the whole, of the universe itself. And while we can't really grasp or understand the breadth, the width, the depth, etc. of the universe, we can empathize with understanding about it. This is also to empathize with understanding about the truth, or understanding about the perspective of the Dhamma King, the perspective of the Emperor of Truth, the perspective of the fundamental ground of being. The moment you start to go in the flow, you may look at your hands, or you may look around and say, where's my Amazon order? Where's my smartphone? Why is the temperature like this? Why does my foot feel like that? What's going on here? Don't be like the person who wakes up on the train and is concerned or confused because they don't know where they are. Maybe it's a long trip. This life is certainly a long trip. But rather, be like the person who wakes up and is curious to enter into present moment experiencing, present moment breathing. This is not a normal moment. This is not a normal situation. And we don't need to wait to be born in the body or the mind of a Palestinian child to recognize that. In fact, the nature of this body and mind is to be destroyed, to fall apart, to die, to be changing all the time. Simply because we have certain comforts or appearances of control in our life, it may seem that this is a normal situation, that you're a normal person, that you understand the mind, the body, reality, life, other people, the environment. But this is not the case. Your understanding is the wrong understanding. For most of us, we are like this most of the time. Unless you are a Buddha, unless you are awake, unless you are enlightened to the truth, then your understanding is the wrong understanding. Your view is the wrong view. Are you the fastest person on earth? Are you the strongest person on earth? Are you the wealthiest person on earth? Are you the king of the universe? I'm guessing the answer for most of us is no, surely not. So recognizing that we are not the ultimate shouldn't be disconcerting or confusing. It should be natural. Oh, I am not in control of this situation. I am not in control of this body. I am not in control of this mind. And I'm a monk. I'm a real meditator. I'm a meditation teacher. I am familiar with real meditation masters and being in the spiritual community. So how about you? Are you in control of your mind? Are you in control of your body? Are you in control of the environment? No. No, you're not. So what to do? This what to do is a place for mindfulness and detachment. So to really ask this question of what to do, recognizing the real present moment experience of not in control of body and mind, not in control of the environment, bringing up this question of what to do is a moment of mindfulness, deep mindfulness, rich mindfulness, really penetrating into the real experience rather than the fake experience. I'm in control. I'm a normal person. I'm going to do this tomorrow. I did that yesterday. No. You are not someone, for sure. So, if we can be mindful of the real situation, which is not so complicated, it may sound strong-worded or a little bit exciting when phrased like this, but actually it's just maybe the most reasonable response from a logical point of view would be, so what? Yeah, I'm not ultimately in control of this body. I'm not ultimately in control of this mind. I'm not ultimately in control of this environment. So what? But as a meditator, as a practitioner, as a Zenist, we are not concerned with so what. We are not concerned with the logic, the theory, but more so the practice. So this question of what to do brings us to a place of mindfulness or present moment experiencing and detachment. If you cannot control the body, you need to detach from the body. How about a smartphone? You buy a new smartphone or your computer or your car, whatever it is, okay? If you cannot control your car, but you are attached to it, if you cannot control your phone, but you are attached to it, so be mindful of the present moment body, which is not the body of thoughts, but the body of present moment experiencing. Be aware of present moment mind. which is not just the content of mind, but it is also the underlying principles of mind, such as the impermanence of mental phenomena. Okay, we can see that. Also aware of the environment. There may be certain people you imagine to be around you. There may be a temperature. There may be possessions or a physical context we call the environment. Mindful, aware, uninvolved. Even in the awareness, even in the noticing of the nama and rupa, or the present moment experiences, whatever they are, what they are, mental, physical, verbal, the other people, the environment, the situations, this is much less important than the action of mindfulness, the action of present moment awareness, and the action of detachment, which is not to reject, but it is to pick up or naturally become aware of and to put down, to uninvolve with. Just because you see something doesn't mean that you're involved with it. Just because you do or don't do something doesn't mean that you are involved with it or attached to it or fixated on it. So whatever is picked up, whatever is aware of, to put down, to step back from. We are privileged. If you can hear right now, you are privileged. If you can see right now, if you have a mental or physical health right now, you are privileged. You are blessed. You have the good conditions. But rather than building this complicated story or narrative, especially when it has to do with our greediness, we want more, we like, who cares what you like, who cares what you don't like, stop it. So our greediness, our anger, or our strong kind of negative feeling about anything, anyone, non-practical, complicated thinking. Most thoughts are nonsense. Most thoughts are not true, not real. And even if they're true or real, they're not practical. So, mindful and detached from someone, some place, some time, some experience, aware but not involved. We need to tune in to the unusualness of this experience. Many people have built a facade of confidence and authority and understanding. right? A position of strength, on privilege, on the conditions they find themselves in. But immediately, if you were to take that person and put them in different conditions, they wouldn't really be skillful to control their body or mind. They wouldn't be skillful to be mindful or detached. We need to fundamentally reprioritize our actions to be concerned with the truth and to be concerned with reality. Because we are beings or expressions of reality, we're human beings, we are coming from the Mother Earth or the universe, there is a natural skillfulness, a natural healing, a natural peacefulness, a natural wisdom to heal or to take care of the body and mind. So reprioritizing our actions, reprioritizing our involvements from media consumption, from self-fixation, from making money, to really being mindful. And these good conditions, these privileges, or this environment we find ourselves in right now, is to just be used and experienced for the purpose of being mindful. This is the reprioritization. It's not to be used to make money. It's not even to be used to develop normal relationships. This present moment experience is to be used to know about the truth, for sure. Development happens slowly and steadily. If we can recognize our mistake or recognize our negative quality, then we can do that negative quality less. Period. No judgment, no shame, no blame. We can recognize negative quality or negative point, unskillful point. We can do it less. We can also recognize the positive point or positive quality, and we can do it more. How can you recognize the points? How can you recognize the qualities? By being mindful as much as you can. The unusualness of this situation cannot be explained or controlled or set up or managed by anyone. or anything in particular, or any place in particular. This unusualness is not dependent upon this body and mind, meaning the body and mind of this someone or that someone or anyone. Just as the sun, the moon, the stars, the earth, the mantles of the earth that can quake at any moment are not concerned with someone. They are not fixated on someone. They are not attached to someone. And yet, it is the earth that we stand on. It is the oxygen that we breathe. It is the sun that warms us. So rather than this body and mind being someone at some place, at some time, this body and mind is more like unusual, actually. Now, in a state of war, in a state of great mental or physical sickness that can be brought up by certain actions of greed, hate, and delusion since beginningless time, okay, it would not be possible to concern yourself with this great matter. You may be too busy to farm or hide from missile or seek medical care. That's why from our position of privilege, from our position of health and wealth or comfortableness, our possessions and all of this here is not to just use for ourselves or use in a shallow way, but to use in a great way. This is why many people are so suffering and so confused and so miserable. You have all this wealth, you have all this position, all this status, all this good conditions for health and wealth, but you are just using it for, like an animal, to pleasure yourself or to avoid difficulty. So we need to change our life and our mind, what we prioritize, what we emphasize. All of that happens through more and more recognizing, more and more awareness of the present moment experiencing. What's happening right now? Reality. And when I say you, or I like to say we less, but it's not about someone. It's more the human condition. In the four great bodhisattva vows, or the prayer of repentance, it says, sentient beings are innumerable. I vow to free them. Ancient twisted karma, born of beginningless greed, hate, and delusion, formed by or involved with through the actions of my body, speech, and mind. I atone, I forgive, I take responsibility for. And and we take responsibility through our present moment action of mindfulness, doing good deeds, concerning ourselves with the ways of waking up. The greatest dream is not worth as much as a single moment, single instant of waking up. In becoming mindful of the body, of the breathing, of the mind, of the present moment experience, don't lose yourself in the reactivity, in the judgment, in the noticing, and then the added layer of preference or like or dislike, but rather continue the present moment action of the noticing, the recognizing, the becoming aware of. Offer your present moment action of mindfulness to whatever phenomena are arising, mental, physical, verbal, whatever it is that is arising. Offer your mindfulness, your awareness to that. If you could control the body, the mind, if you could control the environment, then maybe we can have a different discussion about what to do, what should we do. But because we cannot control this body, mind, environment, we should be mindful and we should detach. And detachment will come along naturally with mindfulness of the body, mindfulness of the mind, mindfulness of the environment, which can be the hearing, seeing, smelling, tasting, touching. Detachment will come naturally with that, and doing good deeds or doing actions of generosity, doing actions of the giving up of self-fixatedness, just working for oneself. Detachment will come naturally. That ability will develop. Now I am still young in the practice because I am 30 years old and I have been a monk for 5 years. I have been a meditator and a Buddhist for almost 10 years. And I come from a place of great suffering, great success and failure. People like to ask me sometimes, why did you become a monk? Because I experienced great success in failure and also, you know, relatively great success in success for the material life. From those experiences, I can say for sure that seeking pleasure is not a way to avoid pain, and avoiding pain is not a skillful way to seek pleasure, but rather that freedom is the most wonderful gift that we can offer ourselves and also offer to the others. So I concerned myself in 2018 when I started this path to become a monk, or to leave my life behind completely. I gave my full energy to being free of the relationships, the business, the control of my life, of my surroundings, of my identity. And through that, I experienced more and more freedom of my identity, my surroundings, my relationships. So I speak from experience. If I came from a background where I had less success and failure, I may not be so confident in what I say now. If I came from a background of kind of a general health and wealth of body and mind, more neutral, positive neutral experiences, I may not be as confident about my experience now or the path that I'm on. But because I know where I came from and I know where I am now, then I am sure that this is the right path moving forward, not just for myself, but also for many, many others. It is useful to call it Buddhism, but this is the kind of Buddhism that is free of religion or philosophy or attachment and ignorance. Because we are very often attached and ignorant, we should not be so brazen about our kind of arrogance about, Buddhism is a religion, or I'm not interested to be a religious person. You are already religious. It's just that your religion, for many of us, a lot of the time, is the religion of ignorance and attachment, the religion of selfishness, the religion of self-fixatedness, the religion of greed, anger, delusion. I have many opportunity now to mentor and to answer questions for young men who are looking to the self-improvement journey. And many of them don't have much meaning in their lives, kind of a crisis of meaning, which I think most people have a relationship with that. But they will ask me a question about what is the right purpose, what should I do, how to get to this point, how to deal with this situation. We should detach from our self-power, and we should start to use the power of the others. We just need to listen and to practice. That's it. There's too much philosophy, there's too much thinking, there's too much judging, controlling, too much theory, not enough practice. You will develop a worthwhile theory by practicing. And what you should practice is doing good deeds, being mindful, practicing detachment, practicing generosity, volunteering, supporting the others, using your body, mind, possessions, everything for the others. Donate, volunteer, change your life. Use your body and mind, use your life for the others. And we may not be able to practice this in exactly the way that we kind of feel an affinity towards practicing it like. So we may be a business person or a leader in our family or in our society, or we may be a political person. We may be a wealthy person. And we have this feeling or desire to be a monk or a nun, or to give up our life, or to use everything that we have for the others. But we couldn't, just because the causes and conditions are not right at that time. For some of those people, it's possible, maybe more possible than you think, to change your life, to be a monk or a nun, to use your possessions for the others full time, everything, right? But if you can't do that, if you can't live as a monk or a nun, if you can't develop your meditation, your wisdom, your virtue to the degree that you would like to, you can concern yourself with the people that are on that path. You can support those who are living that lifestyle in the way that you aspire to, in the direction that you would like to move in. I am a younger monk, so I am still developing my community and myself. Right now, I'm focusing more, maybe too much, on developing myself, but that's my choice for now. So I also cannot do for all. I can receive a limited donation, limited amount. I cannot receive so much. But for my teacher, or for different Buddhist monks and nuns that have established meditation center, or who are working for the common good or the social welfare, they can receive as much as can be given, and they can use it. Really, they can use it to help those in need, to build hospital, to feed those who need to be fed directly, not indirectly. And this is the kind of practice we need to develop in our life. Direct practice, direct generosity, direct doing good deeds, not thinking about it, direct volunteering, direct donating, not thinking about it so much, but practicing it. And then through our practice, we we learn the efficacy of it, or we learn how to be more skillful in doing it. It's kind of like with purchasing, right? Sometimes you have to buy the wrong thing before you learn to buy the right thing. You have to make the mistake before you can be skillful to not make that mistake again. So the same goes with our generosity or our practice or our volunteering or our following precept. If we start to concern ourselves with following precept, which, just like many of the Buddhist teachings, it's very, very simple. It's so simple and it's so direct that it's difficult to understand. It's not difficult to put into practice, but it's difficult to understand. In following precept, just follow precept. We are easy to get a tribal tattoo or something artistic or chakra symbol, on our body. Get the 5 precepts tattooed on your body. Get it, if you want a face tattoo, that's the face tattoo to get. And you just practice it and you follow it and you remember it. Be virtuous, be careful, be skillful. Your theory, your theology about it doesn't matter. Same with mindfulness, same with detachment, and same with panya as well, or wisdom. Your thoughts about Buddhist wisdom are not Buddhist wisdom. That's why we say, so what, when we talk about impermanence or no self or dukkha, unsatisfactoriness. This is also the issue with being an educated person. As an educated person or as a wealthy person, you are easy to be arrogant. You are easy to be overconfident because it seems like the good conditions or the privilege of your health and wealth will stay around. But it's not for sure that things will continue to be the way that they are right now. The truth cannot be known by intellectual thinking. The truth is not what you think, what you believe. We have to detach from what we think and what we believe. We have to detach from words and phrases. Just because you are easy to be tricked, just because you are easy to be deceived, just because you are easy to be in a dream and not know that you are in a dream, doesn't mean you need to live like that or stay like that. This is not a normal situation. This is not a normal experience. You are not in control here. And in not being in control, there's a lot of saved effort. There's a lot of openness to present moment experiencing rather than your control, your judgment, your authority, your like and dislike, your preferences. Because you are not in control, it means that you are also not controlled by the habit energies, by the likes and dislikes, by the preferences, by the other people. It takes a lot of bravery to stop being someone. The Buddhism that I am following and that I am representing here online, on many, many spaces online, is not book Buddhism. It is not a spiritual philosophy. Not too much about a personal practice or a personal understanding. This is concerned with real community, real truth, and the opportunity that we all have, that the Buddha established with his original enlightenment, to end suffering, to be free. Okay, let's stop the talk here. And if anyone has questions or like to share experience, please feel free. Please, Donald, speak up. Tonight we will probably stay up very late in our group because the Master is teach all of us to detach from sleeping. So sometimes we stay up until 3 a.m., 4 a.m., even all night, doing good deeds, meditating. Go ahead, Donald.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you could talk about why abstaining from drugs slash alcohol is important in Buddhism.
Can you explain a little more?
Yeah, I suppose in my experience, I've fallen a little bit back into addiction, using drugs, trying to trying to escape, I suppose, trying to, as you say, seek pleasure and avoid suffering. Um, so
What are you using?
ketamine,
Ketamine?
yeah.
Hmm. Haven't tried that one. So the Buddha instruct us to be mindful all the time, as much as we can. It's like you are in a, like if me and you are in a fight to the death, this is not a time to do ketamine. Is it right?
Yeah, definitely not.
Okay. So the human beings, we want to live. We don't want to die. And do we want to be based and chill AF? Do we want to be actually factually based and chill? Or do we want to be kind of suffering and out of it and miserable and confused? So there's a human condition. And the Buddha, recognizing that human condition, after experiencing his own enlightenment, right, his own freedom, his own truth, not his truth, but the truth of waking up, the truth of ever new impermanent nature, had the wisdom and the compassion to teach for the others, because he can know they are, even though most people are not able or willing, they are interested to be free.
Mm.
If we are drunk or high, or we are intoxicated in some way, even by too much caffeine or too much tobacco, we will not be ready to do good deeds limitlessly. We will not be ready to be mindful. We will not be ready to detach. We will not be ready to follow precept. So we will miss out on the opportunity for making merit in our life. If you don't make use of the opportunity to make merit, then your mind will be complicated, it will be confused, it will be unstable. And that mind is not tenable or not workable for real development on the path. The Buddha want us to develop, even in the normal life, even in the life of a normal person. He want that development to be possible, to be sustainable. So we make the commitment to follow precept to help us to detach from not following precept, and also to detach from our desire, our fear, our desire. Most of the people want to experience freedom, but they don't want to detach. So they are looking to their desire or their fear to experience freedom, but it doesn't work. You eat a bunch of food, you get a tummy ache. You take a bunch of ketamine, you're going to be disassociated, isn't it?
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So you need to get your rocks in order. You need to get your boots in order. You need to be ready to detach, to listen, to follow, to do good deeds, to be mindful, to abandon your life from a place of virtue, from a place of stability, from a place of mindfulness and detachment. Then you are a good candidate for the ketamine of life. Because you cannot detach from ketamine, you also cannot change your mind in the way you want to. You cannot change your life you want to, right? Connection issue here. Okay, I think we're back.
I can hear you.
Yeah, just a brief connection. If you want to change your life, I will help you. And that's what I am here to do, right? To help. But you need to get your rocks in order. And the thing is not that it's not that ketamine is not a medicine, or that you should do ketamine or that you shouldn't do ketamine. It's that you should have a mind concerned with doing good deeds, not just for yourself. We're not going to be perfect in doing it. It's not like, you should have a mind for doing good deeds, not just for yourself, means that you become this magnanimous, the weight of your brain increases by 15% or something like that, and you're this ambivalent human being. It's not like that. It's that you concern yourself with that intentionality rather than the intention of, just kind of whatever, your rocks being scattered all over the place. Get your rocks in order, and then concern yourself seriously with doing good deeds and see what that looks like. See what you're open to. Do you want to become a meditator full time? Do you want to become a yogi? Do you want to be a volunteer?
Yeah, I want to help people.
My experience is that even being successful in my material life, so being successful to have a good job, very good job, not just money, but the conditions of the job, very good, nice people, all that. Freedom within the job. Also having the successful relationship. And smoking a lot of weed. Being high all the time. Being sedated all the time. There was a lot of pleasure in that. And a lot of avoidance, but successful avoidance, right? I was able to avoid my mind and my suffering, my identity, etc. Yeah, time was flying by. Nice car.
Yeah.
Everything was jazz. Everything was music. Everything was going well. Okay? I was avoiding what I wanted to avoid, and I was getting what I wanted to get by and by, right? In major ways. That wasn't a valuable way to live. That wasn't the freedom I was looking for. And I was a young person, so I had the willingness to abandon all of that. Now, first, I tried to abandon that on my own. And I exhausted myself in giving away my possessions, in giving away my housing, my relationship, my job, my relationships. And it took quite a bit of time for me to fail enough to where I wasn't so arrogant and where I could say, okay, I want to be a monk. I want to give up all these things that do not give me freedom. Sex did not give me freedom. Sexual activity did not give me peace, freedom, happiness, joy, lightness, power, confidence. Didn't give me any of those things. So why do I need to emphasize that? The same with drugs or being a business person trying to make wealth for myself, right? And anyway, even if you're successful, failure's right around the corner, and even if you're successful, you won't be satisfied. This doesn't mean we reject the life of a business person, but that we don't put it to be this ultimate, oh, I need to be a business person, or I need to live this kind of vague, general lifestyle that isn't involved with this, isn't involved with that. No, you need to step forth. You need to reach out. You need to say, hey, my rocks are in order. What are we going to do? You need to be brave. You need to be fearless. And I've already experienced it for some people who are concerned with me, some people who believe in me, and they've made the choice to go forth to the monastic life or the life of a yogi, the life of a full-time meditator. And, really the religion that's involved with it is your religion, your religiosity, your ignorance and attachment. Our group and my tradition that I'm mainly involved with is concerned with doing good deeds, mindfulness and detachment, concerned with the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. Awakening to the truth of ever new impermanent nature. Recognizing that wisdom teachings are teachings leading to the ending of suffering are more important than business or psychology or the expectations of the others. Recognizing that spiritual community is essential and very, very valuable. This is my experience, and I understand that we are not familiar with this in the West. We're not even familiar with successful intentional communities in the West. As far as I know, they're quite uncommon. They may be successful in a limited way, but they're not very robust. They do for a few people. But the life that I am living here and the life of a monk that I am representing is not just for me. It's not just because I am someone who can teach or I am someone who is skillful to use online spaces. It's because I'm willing to detach and be mindful and concern myself full time with doing good deeds. That's it. If you're in that position, we need your help. I need your help. Whether it's in this Discord community or in our meditation center in Italy, or certainly our meditation center in America. But it's difficult. And the main practice is doing limitlessly for all, not one particular place. Particular places are there, and they're there to be used, and they're there to be experienced only, without attachment. As much as you can give up, for sure, that is how much you will get back. There's no doubt about that. I am just a doorway or a pathway or a gateway to the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. Um, maybe one day I will be some kind of enlightened person, and that's great. But right now, I am representing the Buddhist Sangha, the Buddhist community as a whole, and also specifically my tradition, the Tabarwa organization, which is running over 100 meditation center in Myanmar and also over 20 meditation center worldwide, different country. Some of us, we can be the donors, we can be the supporters. Some of us, we can be the volunteer. All kinds of different ways to volunteer, and there's a lot of that that's needed, especially online. We have one of our member who help us to build the website. A few different people help us to build a website and do these kinds of things. We need a lot of that. Some people can be the donor, but they cannot be the volunteer. Some people can be the volunteer, but they cannot be the donor. Some people can be the yogi, which is like full-time meditator and kind of also taking refuge in the Sangha. So they are not, what they eat, where they sleep, all of that is supported by to the degree that you want to have success or development in this path, in real spirituality, in real transformation of the mind, you have to get involved. Okay, and also meditators. Some people can be the donor, but they can't be a meditator. That's also okay. We don't all need to be meditators. We can be virtuous people. We can listen to the teachings. We can support the Sangha. We can support the community of monks and nuns or the community of meditators or volunteers. But we've got to get involved. And if you've got another community or opportunity, go get involved. It's not about becoming a Buddhist either. If you are a Christian and you attend that church, get involved. If you are a young man who is following Islam, go and mosque shop. Find a good imam, find a good Muslim teacher. But we've got to get involved as more. And we can't kind of, hey, tell me what to do. You are doing with desire. You are doing with attachment. You are doing for yourself. You have to be generous. You have to donate. You have to volunteer, right? You have to say, hey, what are we going to do? Where can I fit in here? What can I do? What are my skills? How can I help? How can I support? How can I start doing good deeds? Now, for my teacher, for example, he can tell you what to do. But to get to the point where you're in face-to-face with him, you're going to have to really be generous. Generosity from top to bottom, bottom to top, root to stem. Open, widen out to this precious, open, creative, contemplative, spiritual life. And we go step by step. If we can go step by step in the right direction, we can rest in our solid footing with each step. We don't need to rush, we don't need to hurry, but we need to know that we're going in the right direction, and we need to make sure our rocks are in order. Get your rocks together. Have your suitcase ready. What's so big about where you live, right? What's so important about what you're used to doing? Who cares that you work at McDonald's, or you work at this place, or you work at that place, or you're used to being here, or you're used to doing this? So what? Why is that so important to you? And it's not to reject McDonald's or Best Buy or, maybe you're a wealthy person or whatever. It's not to reject any of that. All that's fine. But what are you concerned with? What are you supporting? What is supporting you? Give me one moment. Okay, any questions or sharing? Questions or sharing? We we need to be more generous about our accepted views. We more open-minded about the accepted ways that people can self-direct and identify. Not just that, but also non-self-identify, non-self-direct. What is my concern? Helping the others. Okay. There's no drama, there's no debate, there's no control or not control or philosophy or religion. Who are you? Well, I am not someone. Okay. Not in a rush to understand, not in a rush to grasp or reject. Only thing we should be in a rush to do is the present moment action of mindfulness and detachment.
Hi, Bonti.
Yes. Yes, Bree.
So I have been using chanting a lot lately because it really helps for me to just go maybe an hour just chanting over and over and over and um kind of going into a space like meditative but sort of outside of myself, away from concern with the body, the mind, the thoughts, and all of that. I don't know how to describe it, but I was wondering what your thoughts on chanting and mantra and these types of things are. You have experience to do that, and
Yeah.
any recommendation?
What are you chanting?
I change it a lot. Sometimes Ram, 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 Ram. Sometimes Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. And sometimes I'll just find one online and I'll learn it and chant that one.
What is your experience when you chant? How do you do the chanting practice?
Well, actually, I like to write it, the mantra, as I chant it, and then that's pretty much all that I do. And I don't know, listening to it too, and chanting with a chorus or a Sangha that's chanting. That's sort of my experience with it. I've never been taught how to do it or anything, but it was recommended to me, so I tried it once.
Chanting can be very cathartic, and that can help us to process the deeper aspects of mind that we want to work with for our spiritual practice. But for you, I would recommend to chant the Heart Sutra, to chant the Metta Sutra, and to chant also the repentance, atonement, chanting, all things that we've done here. Because the catharsis is good, but also writing down the Heart Sutra, chanting the Heart Sutra. You can use Thich Nhat Hanh's translation. The same with the verse of atonement, which I've shared. We've done a few times here. It's a way we can bring study and practice together. Heart Sutra, Metta Sutra, and the verse of atonement. And that's, you really, open up the bleeding heart in doing that. And when you concern yourself with sutra, concern yourself with writing it down, chanting it, then we will have something to bring up. We will have something to share with the group. And we can also use it to benefit the others. The Heart Sutra is very deep teaching, but even though you don't fully understand it, writing it down, chanting it, practicing with it can be very powerful. We should be more open to working with things that we don't understand, or doing good deeds in the midst of not understanding, or being mindful in the midst of not understanding. You don't understand. Not you personally, Bree, but also all of us, right? You don't understand. We don't understand most things, most situations, most languages. So getting more comfortable and more open to being mindful in not understanding, but not understanding in the sphere, in the container of doing good deeds, mindfulness, detachment, wisdom, virtue, dana, sila, samadhi, panya. Don't attach to chanting or not chanting, but you can exercise using it. Right? And as you use it, as you exercise that, also you can feel the non-attachment while using. Right? Someone could say, Bree, you've been chanting the Heart Sutra, you've been chanting all these sutras, what are you doing? Why are you so attached to this? And you can say, I'm chanting only, reciting only. This is the power of the Heart Sutra or Buddhist chanting, is that this is the chanting of non-attachment. not to attach to realize the higher self or the higher understanding, but to detach from the appearance of any self. Should be careful about the Hindu teachings or the Hindu group, because they have not been shown to be successful. Even the term Hinduism is not a real term. It was created by the Western people or the colonial people who come to India and name all these different traditions. So it's not to say that someone in those groups is not successful, but the tradition as a whole, whether it is the Hare Krishnas or whatever Hindu branch is being represented, they have not been very successful to create a system for enlightenment. Not to reject, but also not to attach, for sure. Buddhism and Hinduism are not the same. And the Western mind is already very psychological, very egoic, very archetypal. So the kinds of archetypes that we bring in to that mind need to be very, very wisdom informed, insight informed, and not, Krishna, Radharani, this consort, and Jagannath, and all these different things. It's not actually a cohesive system. And in that way, it's natural to be unstable. Whereas with Buddhism, even though there are many different traditions, even Tibetan Buddhism or whatever style of Buddhism it is, the foundation is known and fully established. And the success of the tradition in creating enlightened individuals or helping people to deal with their suffering is really certain. There may be some tradition or group that are more or less skillful, same as in Buddhism. But in general, we have to be more careful when we are getting aligned with a Hindu teacher or a Hindu group. Not in using it, but in any kind of attachment or faith in relationship to Hindu group is less certain than the Buddhist teachings.
Thank you, Bhante. I appreciate that.
When we are ready and if we have the good conditions, health and wealth of the body and necessary material conditions, if we are seriously concerned with Buddhism, then we should take a Buddhist vacation. We should make arrangements to stay at the Buddhist temple or go to the Buddhist country be in the Buddhist society. Buddhist vacations are very important and not easy, but possible. So we should not emphasize to do what is easy. We should try to emphasize to do what is possible. Doesn't matter if it's easy or convenient. Okay, my dear Sangha, our dear Sangha, it is lunchtime here at the temple, and we are in the final days of the Hanoi retreat. I will fly tomorrow, so I will go to join for the lunch offering. Thank you all for being here, and let's finish with sharing the merit. Okay, everyone, welcome to repeat after me. Even a moment of mindfulness, there's a lot of merit in that, so don't be shy to repeat after me. May all the merits that we have done till now be dedicated and shared out toward all sentient beings. May all sentient beings rejoice and share in our merits. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, see you soon, everyone.